Crystal, back in May 3rd of 2006, was in a pretty serious car accident. So Crystal, can you tell us what happened there?
I was a nurse, I was a nurse in Vida, and I was on my way to work one night. It was May 3rd. It was really dark and sleety that night. And I came upon a man that was walking. He was walking in a slicker, and when I looked, I noticed that I knew who he was. He lived right across the street from the hospital where I worked. And so I stopped for him, and he asked me if I could stop at his vehicle to pick up his wife and passenger, and I said sure. So when I came upon the vehicle, I noticed that their vehicle was still in the lane, so I pulled over a ways on the back, on the shoulder, thinking, well, they're gonna see that car, and you know, well, I got out of the car. It was a two-door car, an 88 Cavalier Z24. I got out of the car, put my seat forward, let their passenger into my back seat. I took off my sweater because she was cold, and I wasn't far from work. It was just past the Gardenton turnoff.
Okay.
So I gave her my sweater, and then I sat down sideways on the seat and pulled the door up against my knees and was talking to her. When out of the corner of my eye, I saw lights coming really fast, and I couldn't even say anything. I just did one of these and tensed right up. And sure enough, at the last minute, my healthcare aide, who was late for work and not paying attention to road conditions, at the last minute cranked her vehicle into the back of my vehicle, which was stationary. So out I went up and over the door. I slid along the pavement, and then I smacked the back of the car that I stopped to help and rolled into the ditch, all in time for my car to stop less than a foot from my head.
Oh God.
I sustained multiple injuries, serious injuries, all kinds of broken bones. I'll just go through. I broke the left clavicle in 2 places, the scapula in 4 places. I fractured 3 vertebrae in my back. I chipped 2 vertebrae in my neck. I had 22 pelvic fractures, so I crushed my pelvis. I broke the right femur in 2 places. I have an IM nail. That's what this scar is. So I have a metal rod here that holds it together, and then I broke the ball off the hip. So they just kind of propped it on the end because they didn't expect me to live. I had a 14% chance of survival. I broke 6 ribs. I punctured the upper and lower lung on the left side. I collapsed the upper and mid lung on the right side.
Oh my gosh.
I had a pneumothorax, a hemothorax. My spleen was ruptured. I still have it because they couldn't stabilize me to take it out. My kidneys shut down, my liver shut down, and my pancreas abscessed. I was on life support for 10 days, and I flatlined 4 times. Twice they used paddles to bring me back. Yeah. I had the pancreatic ostomy on my side for over a year. It closed up on its own, and I don't have diabetes or anything else like that, knock on wood.
Something at least.
Yeah, exactly. I lost the left kidney a year after the accident. They went in, they took it out because it had gone down to the size of a walnut. Yeah, your kidneys are really big, and it had gone down to the size of a walnut, and it would take all the toxins in and not do anything with them. So then it would fester, and so they removed that one. And then I did really good up until November, not last November, but the year before. So this November.
So 2017.
Yes.
November 2017.
So November 2017, the 22nd, I was admitted to hospital because I was peeing blood. And having been a nurse, you know, I tried the cranberry juice and everything else before I went in. And that time I was in the hospital for 4.5 months. Before they tried to release me a couple of times, but I was so weak that I would fall down at home, and yeah, so they kept me in, and it was issues with my kidneys. And then since then, I've been in the hospital more than I've been out of the hospital. Up to the latest, in June, I was admitted, and they did a bori flap and a ureter resection because they're trying to keep me off of dialysis. They were going to do a tunneled line at that time.
Right.
They had done the first shot of Eprex and everything else, but my urologist is battling very hard to try and keep me off dialysis because when they did the bori flap, I have an incision that went from an inch above my belly button all the way to the pubic bone, so I can only do hemodialysis. I cannot do peritoneal because there's no more peritoneal cavity.
Right.
And they don't think I'm a very strong candidate for hemodialysis, especially considering how sick I've been and been in the hospital more than
At this point, your doctor is saying that you need a kidney.
Yep.
You need somebody out there. She's looking for an A negative blood type match, which is unfortunately extremely rare. But if we could all band together to help spread awareness of her story, I'm very, very hopeful that somebody will step up and give Crystal a hand, because getting a new kidney is basically her only option to feeling better. SANFAN at the moment cannot do a full-fledged campaign, but we're definitely going to do everything we can to raise awareness for her.
I appreciate every little bit. If this has taught me anything, it's taught me to be very humble. Something I never was. I was always very independent, and I get in trouble a lot because even with this journey I try and be very independent and go to doctor's appointments, and I'll go shop. Like, I got out of the hospital and my friend picked me up from the hospital and she was bringing me home, and I made her stop at Walmart because there was some stuff that I needed at home, and she's like, "You just got out of the hospital, what are you doing?"
We don't know anybody like that.
Yeah, I'm a little stubborn, but you know, I think that's what's gotten me this far.
That's definitely what's gotten you this far. Just that was not your time to go.
No,
And
he's got different plans for me.
Crystal, it was lovely to meet you. Thank you for allowing us into your home. Don't hesitate to contact us with any further questions. Thank you everybody for your time, and have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful evening.